Hello everyone, Namaskar. I'm Amita Pathak, HR professional and a trainer, and today I'm going to take a topic about HR analytics. So, dear friends, are you interested to learn about HR analytics? If your answer is yes, so let us begin the journey of HR analytics. What is HR analytics? So, to understand what is HR analytics, we have to go through the journey of HR. As all of us know, being an HR professional, that what is HR, but let us brush up our minds to understand HR first and then switch over to HR analytics so that we can empower HR with data driven insights using HR analytics. What's the objective of this presentation? What we will learn here, let us enhance it. Firstly, we will understand the concept of HR analytics. What is the process of HR analytics? How we can apply HR analytics in our organization? So we must undergo the process of HR analytics. What's the prerequisites to become HR analytic professional? We will cover the tools and technologies. We will take care of the data sources and metrics. And what are different types of analytics? Where we can apply analytics, that is application of HR analytics. And in the last, we will have a conclusion or a takeaway. So dear friends, this presentation or training program will let you know the basic concepts of HR analytics and let you drive through the journey of HR analytics and let you know how you can implement this HR analytics in your organization. What are the benefits of HR analytics if we implement in our organization? Okay, so we will take one thing one by one. So initially, we will cover the concept of HR analytics. So dear friends, now we will take into account two things, HR and HR analytics. What is HR? As the name suggests human resources, that is taking care of our employees. So dear friends, human resources here refers to the organization or a department within which all the HR related functions executes. So HR or human resources is a function or a department within an organization that is responsible for managing, taking care of, and overseeing all the aspects related to the workforce. That is, each and everything, whether it is a recruitment, hiring, training and development, exit procedures, performance management, each and everything that deal with human itself in an organization refer to human resources. It's a vital function where all the aspects related to human resources comes. Okay, we will study later what is different level of human resource function we have to go. But initially, human resources just refer to the department or a function within an organization that is responsible for whole management of the workforce. Okay, so this is the human resources. Next, we will take what is HR analytics. Why we term this as a different thing. HR analytics you can consider as a new wing to HR, and it is the process of using data analysis methods and tools to examine and interpret human resources related data. What we do here in HR analytics, we will do analysis of the data. And to do the analysis of the data, we will use certain functions, methods, and tools so that we are able to get meaningful insights. What is the one thing that we will get from the HR analytics? Why should we apply analytics to HR? The aim is to extract meaningful patterns from the data so that we can make informed decision making. Because whenever we want to do decision making, whether in a life or in a HR department or in an organization, if it is based on certain facts, then it is easier for us to implement those decisions. So here HR analytics is that one tool that will enhance, that will exponentially increase the power of HR and help us to take meaningful, informed decision making. The HR analytics apply to all the functions of the HR and help us to enhance the power of workforce management and human resources practices. So in a single line, we will say that HR analytics is the process of using data analysis method on the HR data to get meaningful insights for informed decision making. Hope the concept of HR and HR analytics is clear to you. Let's move ahead. What are employees doing here? Are they happy enough? Yeah, they are happy. But how we can make our employees happier? It's the duty of a HR professional to provide a conducive environment in which HR functions happen or HR functions executes in a smooth manner. Let us understand different facets of HR, or what are the various functions of HR, or what are the various length and breadth of HR. What do HR people actually do in an organization? Okay. Mostly recruitment and selection. That is, as per the manpower planning, HR professional in their domain will perform recruitment related tasks and selection of employees as required, as per the budget, as per the manpower planning of the organization. So hiring of new employees and their selection. This is a whole process. This is one of the facets of HR. Employee onboarding. Once employees are recruited, so the next process comes the employee onboarding, that is helping the employee to join and doing all those roles and responsibilities, showing them the roles and responsibilities. Smooth settling down of employees comes in employee onboarding. Employee relations. Once employee enters the organization, so how the employee feels, what type of a relationship that employee is having with the organization, to other employees, to their duties, to their roles and responsibilities. If an employee suffers certain problem, to whom that employee should approach. So being an HR professional, employee relation is also one facets of HR, one wing of HR. So whenever an employee is having any trouble or he want to say something, he will approach towards the HR professional, that is employee relations. Performance management. See, this is a very important role because every organization performs as per the goals or the vision of the organization, and all the employees, whether in a department or in any individual role, is assigned certain roles and responsibility based on the goals of the organization. And therefore, it's very essential that employees should perform and gives desired result. So performance management is that wing or that department that will focus on the performance of employee. It will find out also why the employees are not performing, what things we should add up to the routine of employees so that employees should perform well as per the goals and objectives of the organization. Sometimes we do need certain training and development programs to enhance the performance of employees so that they meet the desired objective set by the organization. One more is labor relation. Labor relation here means that what sort of a compliance that organization is having. PF, ESIC, POSH or other compliance, labor returns, each and everything comes in labor relations. That is one of the wing of HR also. HR take care of the labor relations. Then comes strategic HR planning. Yeah, HR people have a very active role as of now. That is as an entrepreneur or as a HRBP professional. HR people are involved in long-term strategic planning. That is how employees will perform in their organization, say for 5 years. So what's the successive planning they are having for their employees? How the organization is taking care of their employees at a long-term perspective. So strategic planning also part of a HR role. HR analytics. The new wing here is HR analytics. As I told you, HR analytics deals with analyzing of HR data using certain tools and techniques so that some meaningful insights can be withdrawn, and based on those meaningful insights, data driven decision can be made. So this HR analytics is very, very essential to the HR people and the organization itself. Workplace health and safety, specifically whether we are working in some manufacturing plant or we are in a normal office environment, workplace health and safety is of utmost importance. Whether we are talking of POSH Act, we are taking care of women employees, or we are talking about the health of employees, providing sufficient enabled conditions to all employees so that they may work efficiently is also the one of the wing of the HR. So HR people sometimes in an organization which is of a bigger concern, we have a workplace health and safety officer, specifically in manufacturing plants. That person will take care of the health of the employees. Okay, so next is diversity and inclusion. Diversity and inclusion is again a wing that when we are recruiting people, different kind of employees are there. So what's our diversity and inclusion policies about, say, are we equal opportunity employer or not? So in some organization, this is a separate function also, but broadly HR will also take care of diversity and inclusion. Talent management, very important these days, how we are doing retention in our organization. What are the various ways we are making so that our employees are happier one? What should we do so that our employees will do their roles and responsibility efficiently? So talent management is a crucial to the success of organization, because if people are retained in the organization, then the organization is able to achieve goals and objective. So these days, numerous organizations are taking care of talent management, focusing on talent management, designing certain models, rules, and policies, giving flexibility in work, say for IT employees, or giving certain bonus or employee incentives to employees so that employees may feel motivated, providing certain training programs, motivation, so that employees may feel at home that, okay, what's the reason that I have to be within this organization? Because this organization is just like my family and taking care of me. So that comes under the talent management. Employee engagement. It's crucial that once we recruit an employee and assign certain roles and responsibility and job description to the employee, it's very essential that employee should be thoroughly engaged with mind, body, and soul towards the success of the organization. But it is possible only if the employee is totally 360-degree using his skills as well as totally engaged towards the role and responsibility assigned to that employee. Okay. If the employee is not fully contributing. It's the role of the HR to identify the cause why the employee is not performing. Is there any personal or a professional issue that is hindering the performance of an employee? So employee engagement is again an important function in HR, because this function helps employee to totally engage himself or herself towards his goal, towards his roles and responsibilities. Compliance and legal matters. So in organization, because it's a company, so certain compliance as per the government regulation and certain cases sometimes arise. So compliance in legal matters, sometimes they appoint a personal officer or the compliance officer to handle the legal issues of the company. So these are certain broader aspects of HR I just discussed, being 10 important facets of HR in which HR works. But the role of the HR is quite evolving as per the diverse requirement of the HR, as per the demography of the location. The role of the HR may vary. Okay. Like if there is a need to focus on the training and development, so HR may involve himself or herself to the training and development role. If it is a manufacturing facility, the role will be different. If it's an IT company, the role will also be a different. The point here is that employee should execute his roles and responsibility as per the goals and objectives of the organization, and HR person here is that central body who is taking care of employee as well as the employer, so that both of them work in close proximity to achieve the goals of the organization. Hope the facets of HR topic is clear. Next come prerequisite for HR analyst. As the topic is what is HR analytics. So I just utilize this time to represent prerequisite. That is, what are the basic requirements for becoming an HR analyst? Should we be highly technical savvy, or should we master in certain tools and technology, or any HR professional can be HR analyst? Let us discuss this. Yeah, HR professional can be HR analyst, or any person can be HR analyst. The first thing is HR domain knowledge, because HR analyst has to work on HR, that is human resources. So he or she must have the knowledge of different facets of HR. That's why I discussed the facets of HR in previous section. So HR domain knowledge, the person should have the first prerequisite for HR analyst. If he or she is having that HR domain knowledge, it's perfectly fine. But if the person want to be HR analyst but not having that knowledge, then he has to do certain short course or a diploma or practical knowledge, so that he is having enough knowledge about the human resources department, about how these departments are functioning, what type of work in each departments are going on. So this is the one thing. What's next? Analytical mindset. As the word suggests, HR analyst. So analyst means that person who is analyzing things, who is applying his mind to get some meaningful conclusions. Therefore, the person should have an analytical mindset. Okay. Because if the person is having an analytical mindset, critical thinking he is or she is able to do, it's much easier to work on the calculation and to gain certain insights. Because ultimately the role of HR analyst is to gain certain insights using statistical methods, and help the decision maker with informed decision making. Okay. Next thing is problem solving, because we have to solve a problem. HR analysts are here to solve certain problem of the organization, to give certain aspects of the organization with his analytical mindset, to show certain informed decision making, certain insights. So for doing that, the person should have a problem solving mind. But luckily, HR people are a great problem solver. But still, if you are not a problem solver, no issues. It means that we have to think that we are problem solver. And this is the best thing, that we human beings are already a problem solver. But here what we are focusing, that being an HR analyst, I should have a problem solving mind, so that I am able to solve problems of HR department or a HR function. What's the next thing? Data analysis skills. Yes. As I told you that a person should have a HR domain knowledge, because that person has to work in HR department. Having analytical mindset, the reason is that he has to work on some critical issues. So critical thinking is there. The third is problem solving, because we are solving a problem for our organization. So problem solving skills will enhance the capability of HR analyst to make data-driven decisions. And the last is data analysis skills. What is data analysis skills? Dear friends, we understood in previous slide that a lot in HR department, number of functions are there. When there are number of functions in HR department, it means that lot, that is huge quantity of data is being generated every moment. And if we will talk about a day, it means that huge quantity of data is being generated. Okay, whether it is a recruitment, whether it's training and development, attendance system, performance management, in each and every department, data is being generated. So the role of a data analyst here is to put his best effort, applying analytical mindset, doing problem solving to gain insight. But how that person will gain insight? That person should have a knowledge of a data analysis. Okay, we will go ahead for data analysis, but here we are saying that data analysis skills. So what are the skills? If it is a smaller organization, say 50 or 100 people, less than 100 people, I will say, then Excel is a tool that is self-sufficient, where you can store the data, apply certain functions, create graphs. But for organizations where number of people are exceeding, say 100, I will say, it means that it is not recommended to use Excel only, because for that purpose we have certain higher level data analysis tools. Okay, like SQL, structured query language, then Tableau, then R programming language, Power BI. It's not mandatory that a person should possess knowledge to all of these and gain a master in that. No. Here what we are saying that we will utilize data analysis skills to the level with which we can make analysis only. Like Excel, if I will talk of Excel, Excel has a number of functions. Okay. And Excel is again itself a vast thing. Here I am not covering A to Z of Excel. That is not required. I will utilize the Excel where I can store my record, or where I can apply certain functions for creating graphs, that is visualization. Okay. And that is the use of data analysis skill. Same is the case with the higher data analysis skills. If I will talk of R is itself a great programming language. But if I'm using R for my data analysis, it means that being an analyst, I'm not here a data scientist here. I'm analyst. Analyst means I have a data, okay, which is generated from my HR department or HR function. I have a lot of data. I will apply analysis to that data so that I'm able to gain certain meaningful insights. So here I am using a selective use of that R programming language or Excel or Tableau or SQL. Okay. So yes, if I'm having mastery over this, that will be a great thing. But if it is not there, it's okay. Slowly and slowly, I may enhance my level of learning for data analysis. Yes, it is not a single day job, but if I'm having a good technical mindset, that will be a great thing. But dear friends, if you are having a good HR domain knowledge, analytical mindset, and a problem solving skill, it's much easier to grasp the data analysis skill. Hope it is clear. Next comes the types of HR data sources. As I told you that data analysis is the tool or a process of doing analysis using certain statistical methods to gain certain insights. But dear friends, for data analysis, we have to work on data. So our data should be of high quality. Our data should be reliable because our analysis is based on the data itself. So let us understand what are the different types of HR data sources from where we can get data to make analysis further. Operational data sources. Operational, as the name suggests, day-to-day things. Like attendance system is an example where employees punching his record on daily basis is an example of operational data. Okay. There are certain other things that also comes into operational data. Like if an employee is working in a project, so for that employee, what that employee is doing in his day, the set of roles and responsibility that employee is executing on his daily basis. Like closing 10 deals on Monday, closing 5 deals on Tuesday. Okay. On Wednesday, there is no deal closing. So for every day, what that employee did is the sales leads data. Okay. But operational data means day-to-day data. So one thing that HR people mostly when suppose want to calculate employee attendance related analysis. So that means that attendance related analysis comes in operational data. And for doing that analysis, that employee has to extract data from certain softwares like attendance system, like HRMS, like SAP. So these days, different organizations are also using customized data, so customized way of attendance recording. So if being an HR analyst, the person want to gain certain insights from attendance data, that means that employee should take attendance data from where? From attendance system. The name can vary as per the software of the organization. Okay. Next comes performance data sources. This data sources deals with the performance of an employee. What we do here? From where we will gather data. Performance management systems. PMS softwares are there. Okay. Training and development records. How many trainings conducted and how many employees. What's the training attendance We will go through that. Exit interviews. What are the outcomes of the exit interview? Say, in an organization, on a monthly basis, 3 employees are leaving. So what's the feedback they are giving about the organization? Like why they are leaving, for better opportunities, or they are not happy, or what's the reason? What they are recording in their exit interview. So these are the certain areas from where we can get the performance related data. Then comes the analytics and reporting data sources. So for any analytics and reporting data sources, what we will do here in analytics, we will work on the HR analytics. Okay, we will specifically say about analytics. Then performance metrics. What are the various metrics? Metrics here means that the quantities that are measurable, used to measure the certain data aspects. Like if I will say cost per hire, okay, so that cost per hire is the type of a matrix. We have different functions in an organization, and similarly for every function we have different metrics. Employee records. Yeah, in a smaller organization, sometimes we have a physical employee files also. And mostly nowadays, we have a digital employee files. So the HR analyst can utilize that file to understand different aspects of employee for types of analysis that HR analysts want to do. So dear friends, we have 4 types of HR data sources, but beside that we have one external data source. External data source, sometimes we are dependent on external resources like background verification, social media, professional network. Like we want to understand the we are recruiting an employee, but we want to understand that the percentage of background verification done. So sometimes we are dependent on external data sources too. So let us conclude these types of HR data sources as that being an HR professional working in an organization or in a department, there are different type of functions, and in different functions of the organization, the HR person interacts with different type of a data. Based on the type of a requirement, the person will gather data from that data source which is required. Like if the employee want to analysis of employee records, so the physical or digital files he will take care of. He want to do the some operational data sources assessment of certain project, he can take care of HRMS or payroll system or the customized data of that organization. And for any analytical and reporting system analysis, the person will do HR analytics and performance metrics data. Okay. Next comes HR matrix for analysis. As 2 or 3 times the term comes HR matrix. So it's essential to understand what is HR matrix. Recruitment and talent acquisition. As I told you that being an HR professional, there are different types of functions the HR person will handle, but we can categorize HR functions into different categories, and similarly, we can also categorize HR matrix based on the type of a department they are talking of for analysis. Like in recruitment and talent acquisition, what comes? Time to fill. The first matrix is there is a vacancy or a position, so how much time to fill that vacancy or a position. Cost per hire. What's the cost that organization is paying to hire one candidate? These are metrics are calculative. Point to be noted here is that these metrics are calculative. That is, we can make calculation on these metrics. Okay? This is quantitative. Applicant to interview ratio. How many applicants are appearing and how many are attending the interview and how many are accepting the offer. Suppose I gave an offer to 10 candidates, two are accepting an offer. So that is offer acceptance rate. All of these metrics are having a certain formula. I am not discussing a formula here. The reason is that it's not easier to understand at this level, but if we are covering HR matrix for HR matrix specifically, then we will cover the recruitment and talent acquisition matrix, how to calculate this. So this is just here for knowledge that in HR matrix, what type of a matrix we can take care of to do that type of a analysis. Then comes a workforce matrix. Employee engagement. What's the employee engagement of a level of an organization? Okay, by understanding this matrix, the company can understand that is it required to enhance the employee engagement of the organization, or is it okay with this employee engagement ratio? Similarly, we have employee turnover rate. What's the turnover rate? Okay, how many employees are leaving? What's the employee absenteeism rate, employee retention rate, employee satisfaction score? Very important metrics. Performance appraisal effectiveness, diversity and inclusion metrics. Nowadays, organizations are actively participating in diversity and inclusion. So they are working on diversity and inclusion metrics. Succession planning, very important. That if we are recruiting an employee as a trainee, so what's the path being an organization we have for that employee? Will that employee retire from us as a vice president? Do we have a certain planning if we recruit an employee to go ahead with that organization for 5, 10, 15, 20 years? What's the incentives? What we are offering to an organization? That comes in the succession planning. But if we are opting for succession planning, how effective it is? This is the workforce matrix. Then training and development. Training and development, as I earlier also told you, that for performance management system has one key thing: training and development. Is training required to my employees? And the training is about new tools and technology or to enhance the performance of employees. Okay, so what's the training completion rate? How effective is my training? How the employees are rating my training? And what's the cost per employee? Training cost per employees. So to work upon the training and development matrix, we have training completion rate, effectiveness, training cost per employees. These are few of the metrics. We do have ample of metrics as per the needs of the organization and as per the requirement of the function. We can do apply different type of analysis and the metrics may vary. But broadly, I am just covering few metrics here. HR operations and compliance metrics. Dear friends, compliance with labor laws. We all know that every organization works with certain government laws, and government has framed certain compliances, and we have to meet those compliances within certain timeline. Like for PF, for ESIC, for POSH Act. So there is certain timeline, deadline. Otherwise, government can sue the organization or can levy fine on that organization. So the person who is a compliance analyst will take care about the compliances, that how many compliances are met. Okay, why the compliances are delayed. So compliance with labor laws, time to resolve HR issues also comes. HR to employee ratios. So dear friends, these are certain metrics I have covered. There is a long and long list of metrics, but broadly I just displayed recruitment and talent acquisition, workforce metrics, training and development, HR operations and compliance metrics. The idea here to represent these metrics to you is that being a HR professional, we may surround ourselves with huge quantity of data. Okay, and we are at the center place. Lot and lot of data is generated at every second. But based on the type of a task given to us, based on the type of objective do we have, we will use our analytical mind to identify the type of a matrix required and utilize that matrix to do the analysis. If someone asks me to do, okay, I want to do the I want to understand about the recruitment analysis. Okay, so I have a huge quantity of a data. I will here take care of recruitment and talent department. Okay, and will focus upon different things like what's the recruitment plan, number of positions, time to fill, what's the cost, why the position or not filled, how much time is there in the recruitment and the candidate joining of a candidate. Okay, what's the ratio of applicant to interview ratio, similarly joining ratio. I gave offer to 3 candidates but joined only 1. So based on the type of a requirement, that is the objective, I will identify the metrics in that department and will use those metrics to do certain calculation so that I'm able to gain meaningful insights from the data itself and help my organization, my department, my HR head to enhance his decision-making capability. Okay. So let's move ahead now. Steps in HR analytics. What's the procedure? What's that thing, one process which we should follow when doing an analysis? Okay, being an HR analyst, what is the process of HR analytics? Let us understand. Define objectives and key metrics. Dear friends, being an HR professional and a HR analyst, whenever we are assigned a certain job or a task, we must understand what is the objective. Why should I am doing analysis? What's the objective of my organization? What's that responsibility that I'm having on the basis of which I have to do certain work? That is the objective. Okay, like suppose your vice president ask you that he want to open a new department, say in XYZ reason, but he's not aware that what's the manpower plan. Okay, how many employees we should have in the new region? He can't predict. He's having an idea, but he's hiring you as an HR analyst so that you may help him to identify the manpower planning of that region. Okay, he gave you an idea, but he's not aware fully. Being an HR analyst, your objective here is to forecast manpower planning in that region. But being an HR analyst, it means that you are using now data analysis tools to do analysis, and you are not talking or giving information based on assumption. Now you are a responsible person and giving information based on data. And here, real role of data analyst or HR analyst begins. Okay. So number one is define objective. We must be aware about that what's the objective. And based on the objective, I will identify the key metrics. Like I gave you an example of a recruitment plan. My HR had want the exact forecasting of a manpower planning in a new office or a new region. So that is my objective. Now key metrics. What are the metrics required? That is those that quantifiable things that we look upon, which will help us to make decisions in coming time. Okay. Next is data collection and preparation. Data collection. As I discussed earlier also, that being a HR professional, we are surrounded with huge quantity of a data. Now we use special power lens or spectacles here. If the task is recruitment, I will look upon recruitment related data. I have nothing to do with compliances. I have nothing to do with performance management. What I will take care is I have to take care of that portion of a data which is going to solve the problem of my objective. Okay, that is data collection. So here, in the case of a recruitment plan, definitely I will take care of the recruitment matrix and prepare my data accordingly. What is preparation basically means? Preparation basically means when we go through data, it's easier. Whether it is internal data within the organization or external, I can collect the data from the sources. But to make that data in a meaningful format, I have to apply certain things to data so that my data is getting better and of high quality. And how I can do high quality, how I can make my data of high quality is we have to do certain things in it. Now, what are the things in this preparation phase that we can do so that my data is of high quality? So, dear friends, in preparation phase, we will remove unwanted things in data. Okay, like removing duplication, removing null values. Okay, removing all those data that is not required, so that at the end I may have a meaningful set of a data. For that purpose, I may utilize certain techniques like filtering, okay, like summation, like deletion, like adding some new column, formatting. So these are certain things that I will apply on a data so that my data is smart enough for analysis. Because when I collected the data, it is just a rough work. I have to format it. I have to filter it. I have to make that data meaningful, identifiable, removing unwanted values. Suppose in my data, 3 rows are blank. Okay, so that is of no use. Two rows are of incomplete data set, not required. I will remove all those garbage from the data which is not required. Purposefully, it means that I collected the data, but in that data, I have to maintain high integrity and quality in that. So to maintain that, I remove unwanted things from it, garbage from it, null values from it, duplications from it. Okay. And format the data in a meaningful form so that I may utilize it as I now need my data for analysis. So dear friends, data collection and preparation involves collecting data and making it more meaningful for analysis. Once I collected the data and now I consider that my data is of high quality, I formatted it, I remove unwanted things from it, and now I'm ready for analysis. What is the one thing that I do in data analysis? As I told you that data analysis involves use of certain statistical methods, tools and technologies. Okay. Like suppose in an Excel, if I will say I have to do analysis, what I have to do? I have to do grouping, filtering, addition of a column. Okay. So these are the things that I can do in data analysis, use of certain functions like like average function, sum function. These are the certain things that we can do in data analysis. Okay, that is, I have a data, but here I am using different functions to see different views of the data. Like in a recruitment system also, suppose now I am using a tool, say average recruitment in a current region. Okay. Similarly, I want to see the recruitment rate in a yearly basis. So data is the same, but here I am analyzing the data, say on a quarterly basis, monthly basis, average basis, so that I am able to gain certain insights that are meaningful or that are important, because these meaningful insights are going to help me to do proper visualization later on. Data interpretation and insights. Now I will interpret the data in different forms. Say recruitment, I just want to understand. Okay, I want to understand that what's the department recruitment plan? What's the recruitment plan for that region? How many new hires per months are there? Data is same, but I am interpreting data in different formats with different views. Because when I interpret the data, then my analytical mind will analyze it and will look upon different insights, what my data is telling to me. Is my data telling something or not? So data interpretation means interpreting the same data in different perspective. For example, you are going for an eye test, okay, and the fellow that who gave you a test is using different power lenses and saying you, okay, this is, are you visible? This lens is visible now, improving eyesight or not? And at one point you will say, no, this lens is okay and I am able to see it perfectly. So similarly, we are utilizing different ways to interpret the data unless we are able to get that insight which is going to solve our problem based on our objective. Okay. Next comes data-driven decision making. Dear friends, now I am happy to say that I know what's the objective and what are the key metrics. I collected the data. I remove unwanted things, make my data of high quality and meaningful. Make my data high quality and meaningful. Now I am here that my data is showing me certain insights. I can do data-driven decision making. That is what my data is telling to me. I am at a situation that I am able to represent that. Look, based on this insight, my data is telling this information, and I'm not lying here. I have a proof. What is the proof? Data itself. That is, data bolta hai. Data speaks always. Okay, facts are always representative. You can tell that, okay, recruitment plan, I will recommend this because my this type of a data is showing me this path. Data visualization and reporting. So in data visualization and reporting, in data visualization and reporting, it means that I have certain facts to show you. But if I show you on a piece of a paper, is it okay? Or should I use certain creative, mind-blowing things so that when you see it, you will say, wow, this is the same thing. Suppose there is a movie and I am just telling you a movie. Once there is an actor, there is an actress, they are going to this place, that place is so beautiful. You may get bored. But at the same time, if I am just showing you a clip from a movie that and you are watching it, that actor and actress are going to a beautiful place, rain is there, beautiful mountains, you get mesmerized because you believe in that. Similarly, dear friends, in data visualization and reporting systems, what we do here is that we are using certain visualization tools and techniques to do our reporting so that my stakeholder, HR head, is able to quickly take decision. Okay, being a HR professional, it's our role to represent our finding using data visualization in effective way. Data visualization means using certain graphs, pictures, okay, figures, so that it is meaningfully able to grasp what you want to say. No one is interested in theory. Everyone wants visualization so that he or she may grasp in a quick manner that what you are saying. Suppose we are saying there is a need to improving employee engagement rate. But how? If you are just speaking and speaking, no one is interested to see. But if you are just showing certain facts using certain graphs, okay, or certain tables, it's much easier that you are able to use it. Okay. Next is monitoring and evaluation. Once we represent our data visualization, we will monitor and evaluate whether it is meaningful. If I recommended that this is the thing that my data is showing, these facts I represented using certain visualization, then I will evaluate it. I'm giving you an example. Just look into this data or sample HR data. What is there? Year 2022, from April to March, manpower budget is there, headcount, start of the month, end of the month, joined, left, average employees, turnover rate, and retention rate. For example, I will just take into account April. So for the month of April, say manpower budget is 100. Head count means last day of the month is 90. Start of the month, the number of employees are 85. 8 employees joined and 3 left. Okay, so at the end of the month here, we have 90 employees. What's the average employee? We have 88 employees. What's the turnover rate? We have 3% turnover rate and a retention rate 97%. So the same data is from April, May, June, July till March. At the end, I calculated the average. Okay, average headcount 90. Average employees at the start of the month 91. End of the month 90. Average turnover rate is 6. Okay, that is yearly, and average retention rate is 94%. So dear friends, from this table, this is clear that we have a turnover rate of 6% and a retention rate of 94%. The manpower budget, we have 100, and average headcount in an organization is 90. So this is a clear sample HR data. Although this data is visible, but still I just took few minutes to grasp this information. Okay, and same is with you. You took certain time to grasp this information. But still I feel that this information is meaningful, but it should be something more better way of understanding the data is there. Because stakeholders or HR head or the concerned persons are not having enough time to look with a clear spectacles to move into the small figures. That's the why the HR analyst is there. That is, that person being an HR analyst is making the job of analyzing easier. And this same data that HR analyst is using. Now, if you look deeper into it, what is here? Manpower budget, start of the month employees and end of the month employees, joined and left. But in the last 3 columns, what we did, average of employee, turnover rate, retention rate. So dear friends, this average, turnover and retention rate, that can be metrics for this data. And these 3 things can be used to find patterns. So let us understand and move ahead that how these 3 metrics are changing the game. In this Excel, what I did here I converted my data into a pivot table. This pivot table. The same thing is this here. What this pivot table is telling to me, January to December, average turnover rate and average retention rate. And same, the thing that 6% turnover rate and the 94% retention rate in an organization from January to December. Okay. Still, this is meaningful, but still that HR analyst is using his skills to make it more meaningful. How? Let us see. Is that a more power now? Is that a more meaningful now? What is this? Average turnover. We have this pinkish line. Average of retention rate from January to December. And here the scale is 0 to 20, 40, 60, 80 and 100. So here, what is the pattern that we are able to understand? If I just have a look here, the pattern is very simple. Because it's very simple data I just took, we have to work on a huge quantity of our data, but for the purpose of understandability, I just took. If you have a closer look here, that from January, February and March, or you can say that November, December, January, February and March. Just see and understand the pattern. From November itself, that turnover rates is increasing. Okay, here for November, it is 5%. In December, it is 9%. In January, it is 11%. Then February, 16%. And March, 21%. It means that employees are started leaving the organization at the end quarter of the year. And this pattern continued till March itself. Now let us understand one more pattern from April to October. From April to October and in mid of a year, say in July, although employees are leaving, but still the turnover rate is very lesser. Okay, like in April 3, May 2, June 1, July no, August 5, then September 3%, and October 1%. So it means that what's the insight that I have here? The insight is very interesting that during the end quarter till first quarter of the year, the employees are leaving the organization. But during the mid of the year, the employees are living lesser. That is, they are more stable. This is what my data is telling. And this information is based on the facts. Although the same thing I am not able to grab from numbers. So that is the power of a data visualization. That is why HR analyst should have an analytical mindset to identify the patterns. So dear friends, hope it is clear that the role of a HR analyst is to get the, based on the type of objective or a problem that he or she will solve, he will identify the type of a data source, work on that data source, make the data source meaningful, grab high quality of a data, okay, make the data meaningful by applying certain tools and technologies. Once the data is ready, he will interpret the data using certain tools and technologies, methods, functions, okay, and do the interpretation to gain meaningful insights. Okay, like in this case, what's the insight that as I told you that two insights are there. The employees are leaving, when the employees are mostly leaving at the end of the quarter to the first of the quarter, and during the mid of the year the employees are feeling safer. What does it mean? That it means that the employer should do certain shift in its policies to understand why the employees are leaving in the end and the first quarter, why, and why the employees are stable in the middle of the year. So now the employees are leaving, and when the employees are stable, the pattern is clear. So the data analyst or the HR analyst can recommend his recommendation to his HR head or the stakeholder with the help of data. Dear friends, let us understand next thing is types of analytics. Analytics. What are the different types? We have 4 types of analytics. Descriptive. Descriptive, as the name suggests, describing things. What basically we do here is we are using historical data to provide insights. Like I want to understand the iteration pattern of my organization for the past 6 years. So what I did, I took data of last 6 years and make certain descriptive analysis and show insights. So using historical data to find out certain descriptions, that is descriptive analysis. Like turnover trend analysis, I want to do employee demography wise analysis, performance metrics analysis. Next is the name suggest diagnostic. Diagnostic means you are doing diagnosis. Why employees are leaving, why this is happening. Okay, so you are an investigator when you are doing diagnostic analytics, why certain events or trends have occurred. What we can do here is turnover cause. We are identifying the cause. Why the employees are not performing? Why the training is not impacting? Training impact analysis. So here, data analyst or HR analyst work as an investigator. Next comes the predictive, where you are predicting future. Now you are forecasting things, but you are not an astrologer here. You are forecasting things based on data and you have a proof of it. You are not speaking in assumptions, but based on the facts that the data you collected. Okay. Future HR related events based on historical data and trends. So here what we are doing, like I gave you one example earlier also, that I want to forecast the future manpower planning of a certain department, or how many employees will leave in future, so that I may plan my organogram or a manpower planning accordingly. Okay. Recruitment need prediction, performance prediction, employee churn predictions. Prescriptive. Prescription, you are recommending something like a doctor. Optimize, you are suggesting certain actionable steps to optimize outcome. Like I suggest that we should increase employee engagement percentage to say 5% or 6%. You're suggesting something, but not in assumptions, based on data. Succession planning strategies we can chalk out based on prescription or prescriptive analysis. Training recommendation, like suppose sales and marketing people are not performing well, and based on the prescriptive analysis, I recommend that since there is a change in technologies, I would recommend there should be a new software update training to salespeople so that they may enhance their skills. So you can recommend training recommendation. What's the way turnover reduction strategies you can recommend? So dear friends, these are the 4 types of analytics. In descriptive, what we do, we summarize the things based on the historical data. Diagnostic, again, we are an investigator, why this is happening. Predictive means we are doing future related events, what would happen. Prescriptive means we are prescribing certain things. We are prescribing, optimizing actionable steps. We are recommending what we, based on the type of objective given to us. So HR analyst is a person that has to perform these 4 types of analytics based on the type of a requirement that is there. Okay, hope this HR analytics is clear. Next is HR analytics modeling. What is a modeling, or what is a model do? Normally a model, if I will say you have to do a modeling of a traditional dress. Okay, the model will wear traditional sari and do a modeling. But on the next day, if I will say the same model has to do modeling of a Western wear. Now what will that model do? The model will wear Western dress and do the ramp walk or a modeling. On the third day, I just recommend that the same model now will do modeling of a certain traditional attire of certain tribe, say. Now what that model will do? That model will wear the traditional dress of that tribe and do the modeling or a ramp walk. The idea is that the people should know the different type of dresses. Okay. But what is HR analytics modeling here? The same thing applied here. It refers to creating statistical or machine learning models to analyze and predict various aspects of the workforce. Here what we are using, we are creating certain models or statistical learning things so that we may analyze and predict various aspects of the workforce. Like if I have to work on training and development, I will create training and development model. If it is a performance based, I have to create performance management model. If it is a compensation based, I have to create compensation model. If it is employee relation based, I have to work on employee relation model. What is this model basically is? Model here, it refers to the one function which wholly solely performs ways to analyze and predict that aspect of workforce. If it is performance, means performance aspect of the workforce. If it is training and development, means training and development aspect of the workforce. Let us understand. Turnover prediction model, as the name suggests, turnover. This is a model that refers to creating statistical or machine learning things to analyze and predict the turnover aspect of the workforce. This model will work on the turnover, not with anything else. It has nothing to do with the performance. It is customized that turnover prediction model will work on the turnover of the organization. Employee performance model will focus on the employee performance of the organization. What we did here is basically in employee performance model, we create statistical machine learning tools to analyze the performance of employees. Diversity and inclusion model means diversity and inclusion things of the workforce. Recruitment effectiveness model means recruitment effectiveness of the workforce. Nothing to do with training and development. Okay. Basically, what we are doing in modeling, we are using the statistical techniques for analysis to analyze and predict that function. The role is customized and focused so that that model will give ample result in analysis in that aspect of the workforce. Skill gap analysis model. So we are using statistical techniques to work upon the skill gap of the workforce. Employee engagement model means employee engagement aspect of the workforce. Time to fill prediction model means time to fill aspect of the workforce. Succession planning model means the model that will work upon the succession planning of the workforce. Compensation analysis means compensation, nothing to do with anything else. Training impact evaluation model. So dear friends, in HR analytics people may work upon different type of a model as per the requirement of the organization. Hope HR analytics modeling concept is clear that here what we are using HR information and using a model and using statistical and machine learning things to analyze that aspect of HR. If it is training, it means training model. If it is performance, means performance model. Statistics is used to analyze the performance employee. Statistics is used to understand the recruitment model of employees, recruitment aspect of the workforce. So that is modeling where we are customizing the statistical models, statistical tools and techniques to understand the concept of analytics. What are the statistical techniques? As I told you that in data analysis, various types of statistics are used in analysis. So what are these statistical techniques? This statistical techniques is itself a vast chapter, but I am giving you an overview about what are the different type of statistics techniques we require in doing analysis. It's not mandatory that we may require all the techniques and should have a knowledge of all the techniques, but yes, we have an overview of the techniques used in data modeling, so that if there is a need, I should have a knowledge about the statistical techniques, and if it is required, I may learn and apply it at a time when it is needed to do the analysis. Descriptive statistics, correlation statistics, regression analysis, ANOVA, analysis of variance, t-test we do, chi-square test, cluster analysis. So in statistical analysis, we may use these type of analysis: descriptive, correlation, regression, ANOVA, t-test, chi-square test, and cluster analysis to do statistical technique analysis. If you want to learn more about these statistical techniques, do write in comment. I will create a separate video on statistical analysis. Future trend in HR analytics. What is the future trend? How do we see HR analytics as a future workforce management tool? Predictive workforce analytics. Yes, we can predict it. AI-driven recruitment and talent acquisition. Real-time people analytics. Skill analytics and workforce planning. Robotic process automation in HR analytics. Employee churn and flight risk analytics. Continuous performance management analytics. So, dear friends, we will see HR analytics as a very powerful tool that can help us to do data-driven decision making. As I told you earlier also, that HR analytics is that tool that has improved or enhances the power of a simple HR department exponentially. Like 2 raised to power 2, 4, 2 raised to power 3, 8. So similarly, if we are applying HR analytics to our organization, the power of HR is exponentially improved. Okay, because HR person will report either to stakeholder or a HR head. It means these are those people that deal with employees, and employees are the only thing in an organization that performs. That's why the organization excels. So being a HR analytic professional, what we are doing, we are helping the stakeholders to make right decision about the employees, about their organization. And that is why HR analytics is too important to implement in an organization, to enhance his existing skills, and to make data-driven decision making. In future time, although facets of HR we discussed are totally impacted by HR analytics. Like if I have to do the predictive workforce analysis, I need the modeling for that. In future time, AI-driven recruitment and talent acquisition may be the area where HR analytics get applied. skills analytics, skill gap analysis, doing workforce planning. So this is the certain things in which we can see HR analytics, where we can apply HR analytics. HR analytics can find his space in future. Although some organizations have already implemented this and truly understand the concept of HR analytics and want to apply analytics so that those stakeholders that stuck some time are able to take effective decision for their employees. Mostly we do information based on our gut feeling or in assumption sometimes. But HR analytics means applying analytics using data, making data as a powerful tool to help the organization to make decisions. This is the simple role of HR analytics. Okay, so dear friends, we are concluding this topic with few things. Let us see. Informed data-driven decision making. HR professional, HR analytic professional, I will say, that will help organization to make informed data-driven decision making. Optimizing talent management. Effective workforce planning we can do. We can boost proactive employee engagement. We can optimize training investments. Enhanced cost efficiency. If employees are not leaving, imagine if we are providing ample training to employees, we are boosting employee engagement work culture. We are improving our workforce planning. There is certainly enhanced cost efficiency to it. And it will result in continuous improvement in HR processes and outcomes. So, dear friend, what is HR analytics? Let us give a tribute to HR analytics. HR analytics is a superstar, so bright, guides organization to success with its light. Progress and growth, it helps to ignite, leading the way with insights so right. What does it mean, dear friends? We, being a HR professional or HR analytics professional, having that superpower that we can utilize to guide the organization and helping every organization to move ahead to get success, a stepping stone towards the goals and objectives of the organization. We can provide meaningful insights to the respective decision makers. Isn't that wonderful? If we are able to do with HR analytics, yes, indeed it is. Therefore, HR analytics is a wonderful tool. We must implement HR analytics to our organization for effective, informed, improved decision making and help employees as well as employers to move ahead in their space. Hope the basic concept about HR analytics is clear to you. If you have any query or a question, you can reach out to me in comments. And if you want that I should create certain few training programs on any topic that I discussed, please write in comment box. I will surely help to work upon it. Thank you so much. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyid dukha bhag bhavet. Thank you so much.